bought this car for adventure, but after 3 months of winter driving in France, I'm not sure it's quite what I expected. Here's an honest day-to-day review of living with a Jeep Wrangler. Let's go for a drive. I went back to the Wrangler because I wanted a car with heart, a car for adventure, a car for fun. We're not doing it today, it's a miserable grey day in France, but you could take the roof panels out, of course, on the Wrangler, and therefore you also have a convertible. It's a great, fun car. Now, I changed, it had some ancient winter tyres on, and the sidewalls were cracking. They were 265 65s. I did a lot of research and I've changed for 265 70s, and I put on General Grabber all-terrain 3s. Why did I choose those tyres and what difference have they made? I chose them because they look great. They're a little bit bigger, and because of the nature of the sidewall where the tread's curling over the side, being all-terrain, they really make the car look better. Initially I was going to put a 2-inch lift on and big tyres, but when I drove home from picking this Jeep up, I had a puncture. Got the tyre off the back. I never changed the tyre on a Jeep before. 20 minutes later, I had the spare on. It was all so easy. It's still pretty heavy, and it was dark and still a little bit tricky to line up, just to get the bolts back on. But it was fine. I didn't put my back out. And I realised that if I got one of these giant tyres, I was either going to have a space saver or a stupid compressor and foam, and I don't like them, or I was going to ruin myself and have to put an oversized carrier on the back, because practically if you have to change those tyres and it's night and it's raining, those giant tyres, they're bloody difficult to change. And for us, we use this car mostly on the highway. Our off-road use it's tiny. I like doing it and it's fun, and we've got some brilliant tracks around here, but we use it on tarmac. So I wanted a tyre that was good in the winter, and we've had some snow and the tyre was brilliant. Good in the rain, and we have plenty of rain, and good in the dry. Stopping distance is good. Noise, it's slightly noisier, but it's bearable. So that's why I chose the General Grabber. It hasn't actually affected the on-road handling at all compared to what it had on here before. It is just slightly noisier. So I'm really delighted with it. So that's a great thing. And I was going to paint the grille back on the car. It's silver at the moment. And I did a very short on that. So the grille appeared to be slightly stuck at the bottom. I did not want to break it, and how much did I need or want a black grille? Not that much. So I've done the tyres. I took the back seat out, sat in the garage, cut a rubber mat to size. Just suits the way we use the car much better. And I've had the car serviced. I am going to fit a CarPlay to it, and that's going on in March. I had to book it in, and that's about £650, including fitting. It's a dedicated unit that will fit beautifully into the dashboard, and it will also slightly improve the sound, but more for me, the CarPlay's great, although I can use my phone for it. What I wanted was in particular was the telephone and the music. just so I can play my music as I'm driving along. What else have we done? I took some transfers off. They were beginning to peel, they were beginning to crack. They weren't even particularly nice transfers. So this is a mountain special edition. Well, no longer, because I took the mountain stickers off. Got some gear to go camping with this. Now, I did not want to put a roof tent on the top. These cars are a little bit toppy anyway for general highway driving. Yes, you can take the roof tent on and off. That's a faff. And it's bloody expensive to put this. You can't just fit them on the roof with roof bars. You need a special arrangement on the Wranglers, of course. Now, whilst that's not stupidly expensive, all of that is windage and noise and just a faff, really. So I decided that's not what I want to do. So I bought a ground tent. In a later video, I'll be setting all of that up. We'll wait for a dry day. I've bought a nice comfortable chair, an inflatable bed mattress that goes to about 2 feet high, so I'm sleeping off the ground. And all the camping gear, including a little cooker, a coffee maker, very important. All of the camping gear, I think, has cost me under £400. So I think that'll be a really interesting thing to have a look at and see how I enjoy that. It will fit in the back. I've tested it. It's quite a lot of gear, but it fits in the back. And of course, that's one of the disadvantages of the two-door Wrangler, which this is. It's, even with the seats out, it's quite a small back. Back to what we like and what we don't like. Well, for local driving, yeah, I hate all of the stuff just works easily and comfortably. Great big wing mirrors, like a Range Rover, love that. It's so, these little tiny mirrors that where they're trying to get the CD factor down are annoying. These, brilliant view, all the way round. I've got a great view, and everything just works. It's simple, but it works. But when you go on a long run, whilst this has got cruise control, that's great, it's tiring because it's noisy. So we drove to through Paris recently. We had to go to Charles de Gaulle, and so we stop-start in the Paris traffic. Now, no problem with the reliability, the engine's not heating up, nothing like that. But it was a 4-hour drive and 4 hours of just, noise, uncomfortable seat, slightly uncomfortable angle for me with my foot on the accelerator. Because we do a lot of trips back to the UK, that's 550 miles one way. Not too bad the French side, a lot of stop-start the UK side. I'm having second thoughts about whether this is our main car. But if we go to sell it, I'll be sad to sell it. And so will my wife Lizelle. A Jeep is a very lovable car. It's so easy to love it. It's got character. And so many cars, and that was the problem with the Lexus, it was anodyne. Cars, now modern cars, they just, especially the battery-driven ones, they just don't have any heart. And a Jeep has heart. So most people with a Jeep will understand why an 1,100 mile round trip, or what is that in kilometres, about 1,800 kilometre round trip, which I do at least once a month. Maybe there is a better car to do that in, and maybe because of our circumstances, we won't be able to afford to keep the Jeep and another 4x4, and we want a 4x4 because we both like sitting up high on these little local roads here, so you can see everything that's going on. So that's the downside of it is, for my 6'5", Now, if you're a little bit shorter or more normal height than me, my legs are 37-inch inside leg. They're enormously long. For my legs on a long run, this is just not as comfortable as I remembered my 15-plate Jeep being. But that was about 10 years ago, and we become less supple as we get older. For those of you that are younger than my 62 years, you've got that joy to come, but you just ache. It's not the be-all and end-all when you take into account the pretty low maintenance costs. You know, I paid, I think it was 190 something euros for the service. It was a basic service. It didn't need anything doing as opposed to filters and oil change. And that was a local garage in France. It's a simple engine. You don't need to be going to an expensive specialist. That's a plus. So there's loads of pluses. And as you can probably tell, I'm very much in two minds as to what we end up doing with the Jeep. It's been utterly reliable. The sound system's good. Storage is a bit rubbish. And you know, of course, in comparison to the Lexus or a Range Rover, there's a lot of plastic in here. But the Jeep will have cost me about 17,000 or something like that by the time I've done what needs doing to it. A little bit more. When I come to sell it, I'll probably get that for it. I bought it very, very well. I bought it at auction, and I'd seen the service history. I translated it all from Japanese, and the fact that it was a Japanese import put some people off, but it had the opposite effect on me. I wanted a rust-free car, and I know how well the Japanese look after them, and it turned out, went to pick it up. You never quite know, but I'd spoken to the owner, and I liked the sound of him, I trusted him, and it turns out I was right too. Like I say, I had a puncture on the way back, but that was a great big bit of metal in the tyre. It has nothing to do with the owner. Picked it up going in to get some petrol, I think. So yeah, was and in fact it bonded me to the car because I was impressed by how easy it was to change the wheel, and that's not the case on so many modern cars. You've got this stupid space saver or pump, and I would have been stranded. And although the spare wheel was slightly larger than the other wheels, it was the original Wrangler, Goodyear Wrangler, which is probably the original tyre, and the other tyres were Dunlops, and it was a 70-45, I believe, 75-45, the spare, not 265-65. But it worked. I went steady. It worked. It got me home. In fact, I had to use it for 2 days while I ordered a replacement tyre, and then I did my research, and I've still got the replacement tyre at home because I got the same size as the originals, of course. But I just thought, no, I'm going to get slightly bigger. And they were a very reasonable price as well, by the way. I think their tyres are cheaper in France. I think I paid 700 euros fitted for all four. So bloody good. Yeah, the engine, it just goes. Now, it's not a fast car, but neither is it slow. It won't embarrass you if you suddenly want to overtake something. It's got plenty of oomph. It's not refined. It's quite a noisy experience, but that's a lack of soundproofing more than it is the engine. You know, with these removable roof panels, honestly, what do you expect? It doesn't leak, even though it's, 2012 car, so it's 13, 14 years old. The seals are getting on a bit. Everything just works really nicely. It's tough. It's a tough little car. Would I buy it again? Yeah, I think I probably would. Even though we're considering changing it, it's such a delightful little car to own. And we may end up with keeping this in the garage. I can't say. I'll have to do my sums, or we may end up buying something a little bit cheaper, just as a runabout than this is. We'll see when the time comes. We're not in a rush for it. transport us in a little bit more smoothness, and that will probably be Porsche Cayenne, 3-litre diesel, something about 10 years old. I like to buy cars where the bulk of the depreciation has gone. That's not how I used to buy cars, but now I'm maybe older and wiser and retired. I don't have a fresh income coming in. Why do I want to waste money? I don't care what the plate says on the front. I couldn't give a monkeys. I've driven fancy Ferraris and Bentleys and you name it. I've never driven them for how they look. I've driven them by how they make me feel, which is the same reason I bought the Wrangler. And we talk about that on the See the Road and Restless Heart, because isn't that what life's about? Buying a car that makes you feel great every time you get into it. Buying a car that does the job that you want it to do. And in a world of soulless boxes, never mind the battery ones, just the designs and the grey or black or white, crikey, even more so in France, by the way. And it's wow. We like to play a game where you pick on a long run. We pick 3 cars. Now mostly we'll pick something like one SUV, one sports car, and whatever else you want. I tell you what, you struggle in France to pick any. They really do. It's easier in the UK and various other places. But yeah, this is yellow, bright yellow, or yellowy orange. It's a car with character, with fun. It's not a soulless box. And if you're not doing the ridiculous mileage that we tend to do in a car, by golly, I'd recommend this. And the 3.6, really, you might be scared off because you pay a little bit more tax on it, and it uses more fuel. But those headline figures, just ignore them. That's not what you should be looking at. It's the overall cost of ownership. So when I look at this and I go, right, well, basically next to no depreciation, really you're probably looking at, including the odd repair that's needed over and above standard servicing, something like 500 a year. I mean, it's silly. It's properly solid and reliable and very unlikely, touch wood, to let you down. So there's a lot going for these little cars, and when I want to get out on the muddy tracks here, and they are bloody muddy at this time of year, put it in low range, 4-wheel drive. It's as good as any car off-road. Now, you're not going to go over your mental boulders, and I don't have a snorkel on it, or through deep water, but for some sort of semi-serious off-road still, it's going to beat pretty well anything else that's out there, particularly as it's got the right tyres on. They're not ultimate off-road tyres, but most of those ultimate off-road tyres are dismal on the road, absolutely dismal. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please feel free to like, subscribe, and there'll be more on the way. The next one will be the XJS, when it's had its bushes changed, which it desperately needs. It's like steering a blancmange at the moment. Yeah, more to follow. Thanks for listening.